I think we officially have 100 trades. So YM, the Dow looks like it is a little bit better with this strategy. Had about a 75% win rate. So overall, like, really happy with this equity curve. We only had 2 losses in a row. We had 7 wins in a row with a 75% win rate. We're gonna have some nice win streaks in there. What's up, guys? So yeah, we've had a lot of really good feedback from some of the Doyle Exchange backtesting videos we've done, so I wanted to take a moment and show you guys. It's a really cool model. I really like his entry model in particular, that it has a little confirmation instead of just using a limit order on some of these supply and demand zones. He kind of looks for that reaction and then tries to hop on it as price continues in his trade direction. So I think it's a really cool entry model, and yeah, I wanted to test it a little bit more. We've done a couple videos, but I haven't really been able to get through that much sample size to really give you guys some actual good data. So I wanted to try today and see if I can get through 100 trades testing his model. I have looked at his channel. It does seem like since he's in the US, he has transitioned away from Forex a bit and is trading mostly indices and gold in New York session with futures. I do the same thing because of regulations. So and then on top of that, from testing Burns Globex model, which is also another supply and demand model, I've noticed that the NASDAQ tends to respect supply and demand models a little less than some other models. So I think we're going to focus on YM, which is the US 30, and GC, which is gold, and we'll take a look at both of those. And then the last thing too, I saw a lot of people in the comments, I'd been going for 3-to-1s in these previous videos, but a lot of people say that he typically goes for the 1-to-1s, at least for his first take profit. So I'll go ahead and make that slight adjustment today too. We'll just go for simple 1-to-1 base hits. Now that we have the risk reward simulator, we can look at the end and see, you know, what is maybe the best level to hold those runners after the fact. So we've got my session set up here with YM and GC. I wanted to just kind of pick a random date sometime in the last 3 years. I want to give myself a little bit of room so I can get the 100 trades. I just found some random generator. So let me see if I can just get a random date here. August 9th, 2023. Okay, we'll just go with that random date. 2023. August is usually a little choppy, so we might, we'll see what we get when we come into it. So August, what did we say? August 9th. So we'll start the day before, so that when I play it forward, we'll be at the right day. And yeah, let's see if we can get through 100 trades in New York session. So it's pretty simple to set up the layout for this. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple changes here. We'll go split screen. We'll go ahead and put YM on the left. I'm going to try and trade both these at the same time, kind of like he does. It's maybe a little hard for you when you first start out, but indicator-wise, we're just going to need the moving average exponential, basically the EMA. It's going to be 200 EMA, and then maybe we'll put it white like he does on his charts, so we try and channel our inner Doyle. So I'll put this on both charts. You can just copy and paste the indicator. It's usually a really easy way to do it. And then I want to remove this electronic trading hours info. So if I come into the settings here, I can just turn the opacity on these to 0, and that kind of takes away the shaded areas. And make sure you're on ETH so that you have all the data. And you should be able to apply this to all. Yeah, and then it'll be on both. And obviously we're using 5-minute time frame. I'll go ahead and sync interval time, pretty much everything except the symbol. I'll sync between these two charts so I can kind of see them in tandem. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the setup. Like I said, he really tries to identify which asset is actually trending and more likely to kind of tap into those supply and demand levels. Generally want to see kind of a nice sloped 200 EMA instead of kind of a flatter one. So yeah, with that, we'll change this. We're going to be using New York session. I have seen he started to trade a little bit pre-markets. So maybe we'll do the same. I think in this video here, he was trading this like an hour and a half actually before New York opened. So maybe we'll do the same. We'll go ahead and start up to 90 minutes before kind of New York session starts. And then maybe we'll just do the first 90 minutes. So we'll do like a 6-hour session essentially, and just try and capture that. And I'll try to cut off at the end of the session. I might go ahead and add the session indicator in New York just so I have I can kind of visualize what I want to test more. So I'll just make this like a kind of gray, and we'll change the time from basically 7:30 when we're starting. Maybe I'll do like actual New York Open, because he doesn't want to trade like right during New York Open either. So we'll go from like basically 7:30 to about 11 maybe, New York time, and we'll kind of cut off there, and I just want to have the 9:30 line on the chart so that I kind of see when to not trade. But yeah, we're good to go. We'll go to the next session and let's kind of see. So gold's really nicely trending to the downside. The Dow is kind of coming into some support here, so I'll draw out a couple potential zones here. This zone could overlap with the 200 EMA, which is nice. And then yeah, gold, it's kind of same thing here. Have a little bit of a supply zone right here. I'll try and get them the terminology right this time. I learned support and resistance, so I'm used to support being the kind of bottom, but this is obviously demand in this case. So I'll try and get them right this time. I know you guys are making fun of me for mixing them up, but so we got closure into the zone again, kind of same thing. Obviously, we really would want to just wick into these levels. Otherwise, I'm not super interested in them. So I'm gonna be a little picky with these. Try and identify like the best setups I can. So we have kind of another zone up here. I'm just gonna delete this one. It's not really relevant. And then yeah, I'll just move it over a little bit so you guys can see things a little clearer. But we're just gonna play things forward and see what kind of zones develop as the session moves on. Let's see, make sure I got it selected. Another potential supply zone on gold there, and then on the Dow we've got a potential demand zone right here. So a couple things going on. I think this lower zone is probably a little bit better, so maybe we'll stick with that one, preferably unless we get a big reaction. There we go. So I'm looking at a trade on the Dow right now. We wicked in this low demand zone. We're in line with the 200 EMA. Market structure shift to the upside, have some kind of liquidity targets up here. And again, we're just going to go for simple 1-to-1s. Not going to do anything crazy. So it's a buy stop order. Just risking 1%. It's automatically calculating my position size. I'm not going to do break even or anything. And not using any tags, just kind of keeping it simple. And then the next candle goes a little lower, so I'll adjust my entry here. So I'm looking for a break above this candle high. So kind of still using the stop at the low, but I'll adjust my take profit as well, just for a simple 1-to-1. So buy stop. I'm not using any tags, so it's all we're good to go. So we got tagged in, and really nice, simple win there. Could have potentially looked for a short on gold as well. We did slightly wick into this zone, but wouldn't have had an entry. Now we've got some closures into it. So yeah, not really wicked through the whole zone. So I'm not really interested in using that zone for gold. We've already caught the win on the Dow, and looks like the base hit was kind of the right move to take. Well, yeah, we've tapped into this supply zone on gold, and it is, it did barely close above the 200 EMA, but we're back below it. It's not like maybe the perfect setup. We have kind of been chopping around instead of a more trading environment, but we'll give it a shot, going kind of at the low of this candle for a simple 1-to-1. Let's see if we can catch a little continuation of kind of this broader move. Hopefully we can kind of break these lows instead of reversing. It's at least worth a shot. So place order here. Again, don't really need to fill anything in here, so just using the position tool to watch it out. Let's see, so we get tapped in, and nice take profit. So it did come in quite a bit of drawdown, but then rejected once again from that supply zone. So a couple wins this day. Honestly, I'm probably done for the day. I'm not really going to try and chase anything else. I've caught 2 wins already this day. So coming to this next day, we've got moves up in both assets, but this demand zone's below the 200 EMA for the Dow, so I'm really more interested in this one over here. It's already kind of tapped into it, and we do have some news coming up that I want to be aware of. I definitely want to close, most of the position at least before news, but yeah, we'll wait to see if we can get maybe a little more reaction. Okay, so we've got similar reaction in price to this low down here. To this demand zone. So I'll use the actual low that wicked into it and see if we can get a 1-to-1 kind of before this news happens. So it took a little bit to, the first couple candles didn't tap us into an entry, but then we got another one right here. So I just adjusted my entry for a break higher of this candle. So place order, it's going to be a stop, or I guess it's pretty much at market because the candle was a doji. Not using any tags or anything, and see if we can get a TP before news. Nice. So we got our TP like 25 minutes before news. Not going to do anything until after news. Let that play out a little bit. Let's see, could potentially have some trade going on here. We've got a little bit of a demand zone on gold that's being tapped into right here. We haven't had any closures above these candles yet, and this stop loss is pretty big, to be honest. But we'll go ahead and see if we can catch some kind of continuation off this demand for our second trade now that CPI's been going on for a little bit. So again, just kind of play it forward a little bit. Got tapped in, and unfortunately hit our stop loss. So one win, one loss overall so far. Nothing really going on in the Dow. We're just pretty much going sideways. So I want to see more trending price action, one direction or the other before I try anything. Maybe this level down here we could potentially look for on the Dow. Lines up with the 200 EMA. Nothing really on gold that I would see right now. Let's see. Okay, so I went too far. The really awesome thing with FX Replay now is you can go back a single candle. So now we did tap into this zone I was watching. Sorry, I was looking at both charts. Couldn't catch it right away, but yeah, we've got a really nice reactive wick off this, so we can look for a buy stop above the high. And again, just going to go for simple one-to-ones for this initial testing, and we can use the risk reward simulator to see, what's the optimal level to maybe hold some runners. So I'll place the order here with a buy stop, and I think this one went, pretty much straight to TP, which is awesome. So we had a big break to the downside on the Dow, and we tapped into the zone to potentially look for a short here on a retest of this level. Just going for a simple one-to-one. Again, big move to the downside. It's only like 15 minutes after the news, so it's not the best, but yeah, we'll give it a shot. See if we can catch a continuation on that. All right, now I got another nice win. We had to wait for open to get us to it, but yeah, got a nice win off that. It's nothing really going on with gold. Okay, now we're moving to the upside on the Dow. Could potentially have a demand zone right here we can look at. So play forward a little bit, see if we can get some kind of reaction to it. All right, we closed into it with the first candle, so I'm not really interested in it. I'd rather see a wick into this level. Gold, again, nothing. We're just chopping around the 200 GDMA is like perfectly flat, actually. So finally got some movement down on gold. So this last green candle, we could potentially, that's a pretty big move back if we come all the way back up there. But let's see if we can catch maybe a subsequent level after it. Again, nothing with the Dow. We're still hanging around the 200 EMA. Okay, so I need to go back one more candle. With a nice wick into the level. Place the order right here. Go for a one-to-one. I'm trying to backtest this as efficiently as possible, so I am going to replay. I went forward one candle too far. But I'm going to try and just identify these and record as many trades as we can until we get to 100. So yeah, we stopped out on this one anyways. Pretty good downtrend on both assets. Got one supply zone right here. I knew I was going to do it at some point. Some good pre-market setups here that, we weren't able to tag in, but now this zone is not fresh anymore, so I probably wouldn't really want to use that. This one on gold is pretty good, though. I think we could use that. Even this guy right here. I think either of these, they're under the 200 EMA, so potentially give them a shot. So we do have some more pre-market news to be aware of. I'm going to only be in this trade for 5 minutes. And if it doesn't give me TP before news, because yeah, we get some pre-market news again. So we'll see if we can go to TP. Nice. If we were still hanging around and hadn't hit our TP before this, I probably just would have manually closed. I think Doyle, for the most part, I think I saw at least one example where this happens, and he'll try to at least exit most of the position, maybe leaves a single runner or something, because the news can obviously go in your favor. But yeah, I think we got the single one-to-one TP. Could have held out for these relative equal lows for 2R instead, but I'm just trying to record these with one-to-one since that's the main level he uses. We can look at the trailing using the risk reward simulator to hold a little bit more after the fact. So we'll let this news play out. Nothing too crazy. We have now wicked into this zone as well. Sorry, go back a couple candles. So we wicked into this supply zone up here. See if we can catch a continuation to the downside with a simple one-to-one for a second trade of the day. Unfortunately, caught a loss, which is fine. We probably wicked. It looks like we had a big liquidity grab down here, probably on some higher time frame lows, but we did want to give it a shot, and unfortunately that one was a loss. But let's see if we can reference some of these other supply zones. We got a wick right here on the Dow. And now we've kind of wicked through the whole thing, so I'm not really interested in this zone anymore. Potentially this guy right here, this last green candle before we move down. If we wick into it, yeah, we've kind of started to close through, so I wouldn't be interested in that either. So now we're at open. Wait a couple minutes, see how we move after open. Have a new potential zone right here. It's pretty big, but one potential supply zone right there. Got a wick into it. Again, pretty big stop loss, but you could look for a continuation for this. Okay, now we can tighten up our entry quite a bit off this new candle. Again, just going for 1-to-1. Nice TP. And again, this is another case where we could have definitely held our take profit. You know, looking at these local lows down here, 2.4R, we could have definitely gone for instead, but ended up just going for the simple 1-to-1 TP. It's like a huge zone. We could potentially try it. It's pretty big. Oops. Okay, it's all good. We got wicked down on that one. Yeah, some big moves here. Unless there's been some like orange folder news or something pre-market that I didn't see. Maybe that's something we want to turn on to. Yeah, there was some orange folder news. So kind of same thing. Probably shouldn't have taken the trade right before news. So maybe we'll add that like news impacted this trade. We'll record it anyways. I mean, I took the trade, so we'll keep it in the analytics. But I think that's definitely a trade I probably shouldn't have taken because of the news. This is maybe something we could look at. This one's probably better. We can wick up into that before the move to the downside. We still haven't had like we've had a clean market structure shift right here, taking out these lows. So if we can wick into that zone right there, I might. Okay, we got to wick into it. See if we can see continuation to the downside with a 1-to-1. Nice. I can't really narrate for like 5 hours straight, so I'm probably gonna stop talking through these and just record them a little quicker for you guys. So hopefully we can get through the 100 trades. But yeah, if you guys have questions about any of the specific trades you see, feel free to type in the comments. Definitely happy to answer and also just admit that like I don't I am not Doyle, obviously, and I'm trying to trade his model as mechanically as I understand it, but I understand there's probably some trades I'm taking that he wouldn't, or I shouldn't, or that I should have done things differently. So definitely open to feedback. I think it helps other people. If you guys do trade his model and you see something, like I said, just going for those 1-to-1s instead of 3-to-1, that's a pretty big difference. And so feel free to add anything to the comments if you're wondering why I took a trade, or if you have comments on a trade that I shouldn't have taken for whatever reason. It's going to help other people that are trying to learn the model. So with that, I'm going to go off camera and just kind of go through these a little quicker for you guys with more examples, and let's see if we can get through 100 trades. Well, I think we officially have 100 trades, so let's take a look at the analytics. This was actually pretty quick to backtest. I guess before I get into the analytics, I just want to give you guys a pro tip. If you are backtesting this, I really recommend using the kind of single play forward and playback candles, because it's really easy to see, like, if a candle taps into the zone, you can play like one candle forward to see does the next one, like, would the next candle have triggered you in or not? If not, you can just go back like a single candle. So it actually makes the backtesting pretty efficient because of that. So yeah, let's go to the analytics and take a look. So overall, like, really happy with this equity curve. It does look like we started with a kind of choppy period, or pretty flat. That's honestly pretty common in summer months. Often tends to underperform for a lot of strategies. And then we started seeing a really nice increasing equity curve. Ended up with basically every 2 out of 3 trades was a win. See if we had any difference between the assets. So I do think YM had a slightly higher win rate. Yeah, so YM, the Dow looks like it is a little bit better with this strategy. Had about a 75% win rate. I think GC was still profitable. It just had a little lower win rate. Yeah, 56%. Actually, it wasn't really super profitable until the end here. So our win rate was definitely hurt a little bit by GC, but it didn't end up in the end giving us some profits. If it was me, I would definitely probably mainly trade YM. But let's look at the simulators real quick. So I have this on GC for now, and I'm just curious. So yeah, the base model wasn't really super profitable, 1.29R. The risk reward simulator says 1.5R. Could give us a little more profitability. It's still under that 1.75 threshold, so GC overall, just I'm not seeing a ton of profits with this. I am really curious about YM though, so let's look at YM real quick. And I think it's important to like filter on whichever specific asset or entry trigger you're looking at before running these simulators, because it's obviously going to vary a little bit between them. So overall, yeah, it looks like 1R ended up being the best case for everything for YM. I noticed there was a lot of trades that like barely hit the 1R TP, and so I'm not surprised that this is the result. Really nothing else comes even close. So I think 1R is really the move with YM. Some of the other instruments, ES, MQ, I mean, you can test whatever you want with this. But looks like YM is really solid with a 1R, 75% win rate. Like, you can't really complain about that. Looks like about half the trades I took were on YM, so maybe build this out a little bit more to feel super confident. But like, this is a really, really great equity curve, 1-to-1 risk to reward. And yeah, looks like YM, similar to what we saw with Burns Globex strategy, like the US 30 or YM tends to respect those supply and demand zones pretty well. So, and we see all the same here with Doyle's variation, a little bit different. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any thoughts, questions. Look at a little bit more of the analytics real quick before we wrap up. Average drawdown was 0.38R. Nothing crazy, but we did have some that got pretty close to our loss. So I think the stop loss is pretty reasonable on this. I probably wouldn't recommend going super tight with it. We only had 2 losses in a row. We had 7 wins in a row with a 75% win rate. We're going to have some nice win streaks in there. Looks like our wins and losses had pretty much the same win rate. I was taking most trades in kind of early, basically late London session, early New York session. So it looks like the New York trades after open were a little bit better. We did take obviously most of our trades in New York session, and so most of the profits are there as well. And then kind of last thing, let me filter on New York time, so we can just look at this specific to New York time. See if we have any insights from the performance by hour. So it was profitable the first hour, kind of like the 7:30 to 8 window, but we only made 1R. There was only like 3 trades. So honestly, it might be better to just start at 8 instead. Maybe save yourself 30 minutes of sleep, and you can maybe just trade this from like 8 to 12, basically. Like all of these looked really, really solid. Same thing with performance by day. Looks like Thursdays crushed, to be honest. Tuesdays and Thursdays were really good. We had 9 wins on Tuesday. So as you start to build out these sample sizes, it looks like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are going to be maybe a little bit more profitable than Monday, Wednesday. Also really common with a lot of strategies that I see. And lastly, let's look at performance by month. We got 7R, 10R, and 9R in the 3 months we tested. So I really encourage you guys to kind of test this out, see if you get the same results. Let me know if there were any trades that I missed or you think the execution could be changed up. But yeah, as we saw with the previous videos, this does seem like a profitable model. Make sure you find the right assets for it. As we saw, GC, YM is definitely seems to be better than GC in this case. So why not trade the best assets and test some others, see if you get similar results. But yeah, the risk reward simulator is helpful to at least check. Should we consider holding these longer? In this case, it doesn't really seem like that. It seems like the 1 RTP that Doyle's kind of generally uses is the best case, and makes sense. He's been trading it for a long time. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys like. If you want to see more videos like this, again, let me know if you guys trade this strategy. If you have any inputs or feedback, I'd love to hear it. Obviously, hop in the Discord if you guys are curious to talk more about it too. But hope you guys enjoyed this stream, and I hope you have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later, everyone. Bye.